this really, but I want to make sure that we are prepared for it, because at some point we're going to have all of us, hopefully, if not most of us, in the sellers program. We're going to get listings, or we're going to actually have to go on listing appointments. So this is something that's not going to necessarily apply. I mean, maybe it will. Who knows if you get a listing appointment, but might not necessarily apply to you today, but it's definitely something that you want to be good at and be prepared for. So what we want to talk about is, well, let me go ahead and share this because you guys can't see it. Is we're going to talk about negotiating commissions. So you're at a listing appointment and the seller says, Hayden will do it for 5%, Jordan. Why would I not go with Hayden? She's on the same team. She's offering the same. I'm doing 5%. So I have a video. I saw Hayden actually liked it, so you might have heard this one before. It'll be a good guide here, and we'll watch it here in a second. But let's start brainstorming ideas and kind of masterminding this thing. If you're sitting at a table and the seller says, I found another agent that's going to do it for cheaper, how would you handle that situation? What do you think?
Are we supposed to answer you?
Yeah. Let's mastermind. Let's.
I mean, I think it depends on. I think it depends on how, like, if Hayden says she's going to do it for 2.5, and Aiden's like, I'll do it for 1.5%, like, so ridiculously low that's a red flag to me, because that's somebody that's like extremely desperate to sell your home. It doesn't mean that they're going to do the greatest job. But yeah, I mean,
let's assume it's like you're trying to get your full 3%. So you're 6, the other people are going to do it for 4 or 5. Like something realistic, right? Like that will happen. Agents will do it for 5%, right? So nothing too crazy. Like we're not dealing with somebody that's going to do it for $500 or 1.5 or whatever. So say it's realistic. What are we thinking? Because you're right. If it's really low, then it's whatever. But go ahead, Chance.
I would probably ask the client themselves, well, why do you think they're taking less? Or first of all, why do you think they're doing it? And I would venture down that. Obviously, it's going to come down to, their response, but really you're just going to check on the values that you can bring. And I mean, that's one route I could see you can go.
Okay. What else? What do you think, Jordan and Hayden? What would you say in a situation? You're sitting at Hayden, you get a listing appointment today, sitting at the table. They say, I want to do it for, or another agent's going to do it for less. How would you respond?
I mean, I've heard this. Shant has done it before. I know he mentioned that guy that's kind of like, he brings like a box and starts like taking out things or putting away things that like, this is why it's 3%. This is what we offer. Like, what part of this do you want me to not include to get to the 2.5? Like, do you want me to take out marketing? Do you want me to do it this differently? I guess. I don't know.
Okay. It's a good one. What would I call that? Like value
box.
Value box.
Yeah. Like, I really don't think that someone has to bring a box, but it's a very good like tool, in my opinion, to like start showing like there's reasons behind these numbers. We're not just making it up, I guess.
Well, there's an agent they talked about it at the Tom Ferry event. There is an agent that brings flashcards and will bring those with and set them out and pull it away. Experiment, I don't know.
I think that's a useful one.
Okay. Hayden, what would you say, Hayden?
I mean, I just want to know like what they're offering, because like we are probably gonna do more for you for that 6%. So like, yeah, like I want to see what they're doing that we're gonna do further or like add on to.
Okay. Anything else we can think of on this list? This is a really hard one. Like, we're going through this together, so I do understand. We're figuring this out together. Anything else that we can think to add to this list?
I think it's important to, I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world to also like show what that dollar amount is, maybe like talk about that. Be like, because a 0.5% or a 1%, like, is it worth going with somebody else that,
Okay.
I don't know, really pushing that? I think it sounds nice, like, oh, I'm saving money, but at what cost?
Yeah.
What's the cost of saving that little bit of money? Are you really saving it, or are you going to end up, losing a greater chance in the long run?
Yeah, that's a good.
That would be good as long as the house is not like $2 million,
Potentially. I mean, that's a really good one. And these are all going to vary depending on the situation, the house and stuff. So I do like that. I agree. If it's really high, it's probably going to be different. But let's. Anything else we can think of for this list? Have you, Hayden? I think you liked this. Did you see this video?
Yeah, but I have the brain of a goldfish, so I don't remember.
Okay, like the real one.
She likes everything you sent her. It could be absolutely nothing, and she would like it.
I like everything on my feed because engagement.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely.
Doesn't mean I watch it.
Which goldfish are we talking? The snack goldfish or the real goldfish?
Real goldfish. I actually have a goldfish tattoo
Nice.
for that reason.
All right. Can you guys see this?
For you to lose a friendship?
This video? Okay. Let's see if I can get it down here.
I bet you really like that guy's sweatshirt, huh, guy?
Yeah. So this is a good starting point. I think there's multiple approaches. This is a good starting point, though.
Commission objection. So he's going to do it for a little bit less. Tell me you can match that. First off, I just want to thank you for testing my negotiation skills. My question for you is, are you not a little concerned that you're considering hiring somebody who's already failed the very first test, which is they couldn't even negotiate a few $1,000s of their own compensation? How well do you think they're going to perform with your $1.2 million asset? What happens if your friend doesn't perform? How are you going to hold them accountable, and how does that not impact your friendship?
Good question.
You thought about that? Okay, well, it's important. I would hate for you to lose a friendship, number one. Number two, I'd hate for you to lose $50,000 to $100,000 based on a poor hiring decision. I think that's going to be hard to do with a close friend. And I know I'm the best guy for the job, Joe. So what other questions do you have?
When can I start?
All right, cool.
That was fire. I can't lie.
Yeah, I thought it was strong too. I agree. That's why you liked it.
Yeah.
First time seeing it.
Definitely think it was really, really strong. So what was some of the points? So he talked about losing a friendship.
I thought the strongest thing for me was being like, how, like, your other guy failed the first test of negotiating here. How do you think he's going to do? Like, that was like a mic drop for me.
Mm-hmm. But one thing I would say at the beginning that I don't think I could say, I don't know if you guys would, it's the only part that I don't really love.
Commission objection.
So he's going to do it for a little bit less.
This very first part.
Tell me you can match that.
First off, I just want to thank you for testing my negotiation skills. My question for you is,
I don't know if I would say that. I don't think it's bad by any means, but I don't know. Would anybody else say that in real life? No.
No.
I wouldn't either. But that doesn't really change the strength of his objection handler, right?
And I assume he's talking about like his friends he has a friend that's a realtor that's willing to do it for a little less.
I mean, I don't know. That's all the context we have. I think so though. In this situation,
that changes it a little bit from just like they're interviewing agents. My approach is going to be a tad bit different than if I find out he's got a neighbor or a friend that's down the road I'll do it for whatever percentage. Yeah. Obviously that plays a role. And
my goal is to be able to put together enough of these that we're able to kind of handle whichever direction we go, right? Like just be well versed for this question. But I agree. This right here, no matter if it's a friend or not, the losing the friend and working with a family member type deal, that's very situational. This right here, though, like what Hayden said, I mean, that's 80% of his argument, right? That's where the strength is. And I don't know if I think Jordan was probably the only one on it. We did a scripting, listing presentation scripting, and do you remember Sean did this a very similar approach to this,
Yeah.
where he pretty much went down the same route, said it a little bit different. So I definitely think that it's probably your strongest approach to be able to do it, right? So let's listen to it one more time just to make
Commission
sure we
objection.
don't. And I'm
So-
gonna get notes here. Oh, maybe I can't.
So he's going to do it for a little bit less. Tell me you can match that.
First off, I just want to thank you for testing my negotiation skills. My question for you is, are you not a little concerned that you're considering hiring somebody who's already failed the very first test, which is they couldn't even negotiate a few $1,000s of their own compensation?
So are you not even a little concerned? Can't type.
And this dude's obviously really good at this, and I'm not like critiquing that, but for these questions, is it something, do you let him sit on that a little bit, right? Because he pretty much controlled the entire conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like asking those questions and letting them like a little bit more feedback,
Yeah.
which I guess there could be some listing presentations where the sellers just sit there and kind of listen because they're going to listen to your spiel a little bit, but that's one of my only things. He does talk. He pretty much talks 98% of the time.
Yeah, I think it's because it's a podcast would be my guess. I would assume he would probably do a little bit different when he's there. I would. I agree with you. I think that's a good point. Like I would let them kind of sit in it. So yeah, I do agree. Are you not even a little concerned that your agent already failed the first test, which is negotiating what, a couple $1,000s of his compensation? And I think like there's little things in here that are key, like compensation rather than commission. Like that's a small but subtle thing that holds a lot of strength that I would pay attention to. Right? I like how he said, are you not even a little concerned? Right? Like that puts fear in me as a seller a little bit.
Because to me, that's the same thing I asked about the differences of price of a few $1,000s. This is a $1.2 million house. And I agree with what you guys are saying. It depends on the price point. But at the same time, like if you own a $2 million house, you have the money to pay the difference. Like that's, you know what I mean? Especially now with the equity that you have. That was my biggest thing is like, he basically asked that, like you failed to negotiate a couple $1,000 or that's, you know what I mean? The other person failed to do so. That's my biggest thing. Like it puts it in it's not like it's this crazy number. It's not like you're going from 8% to 3%.
Right. Yep. But he said it in a powerful way.
Yeah.
How well do you think they're going to perform with your $1.2 million asset?
How well are they going to perform with your $500,000 asset? If we could get a $1.2 million listing appointment right now, that'd be great for everybody.
What happens if your friend doesn't perform? How are you going to hold them accountable, and how does that not?
Does that like not like hit home? How are you going to hold them accountable if it is a friend? Even if it's another agent possibly, but especially with the friendship thing. Like there's little subtle questions in here, and I think he does need, would in a real life situation give them, but like that's crazy to me. Like that's super powerful. I don't know. Does anybody else agree or disagree with like how strong that question is? Like how are you not going to hold them accountable?
For friendship,
Impact your
I think.
friendship.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Family member, somebody that lives in their neighborhood, right?
Or just in general. It's a really strong thing for anybody else that they're interviewing, honestly. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Good question.
You thought about that?
And then what does he do at the end?
It's important. I would hate for you to lose a friendship, number one. Number two, I'd hate for you to lose $50,000 to $100,000 based on a poor hiring decision. I think that's going to be hard to do.
Thoughts on that? That's super powerful to me based on a poor hiring decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think people look at it a little different. Like they 100% hire us. Like it's
the
there's
listing
stock
side.
we sign and do all that. I think it's looked at like, oh yeah, it just wasn't a good fit. Like, well, you hired the person. Like you you didn't have to. Like, you're not forced to hire somebody.
Right. On the listing side, right.
To do with a close friend. And I know I'm the best guy for the job, Joe. So what other questions
What
do you
does he
have?
do at the end?
Can I start?
All right, cool. Let's do it.
What other questions do you have? Right?
Yeah.
Like, he makes his points and then he like goes as if he had already, made his point. You know what I mean? Like, what other questions, what other objections do you want me to overcome? What else you got at me? Throw it at me, right? I just handled the hardest negotiation. Like, price is nothing compared to commission negotiation, honestly. So anything else? I want to go in and role play this just a little bit. Aiden, you see what Aiden said?
I just
That's funny.
Important.
it's just confusing because he likes so many teams. He could be wearing a Texan shirt and they don't like it. Big CJ Stroud guy over there.
That's funny. All right, let's roll it. Let's jump into this. Let's practice a little bit. We still got about 20 minutes, so let's practice this. I'm gonna leave these notes up here so that we can use them as kind of a guide. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Let's just jump right into it. But let's get into the practice of saying some of this stuff. And then, like I said, we're gonna learn a couple other probably. This is the strongest go-to for me. If I can find some other really good ways, we will. But let's start here and just go directly into this. So, who wants to give it a shot first? You want to go, Hayden?
Yeah.
All right, I'll be your seller first, okay? And we're just gonna get right into it. Just this part, okay? So, Jordan offered to do it for 5%, and you're saying 6. Are you open to doing it for 5%?
I mean, that's great. I mean, I understand that you want to save money, and part of my job as your agent would be to do that for you. So what are they not offering you that I am?
I don't know, to be honest. They just said they would do it cheaper. So I really don't know what they're offering. I just really like that price.
So you don't think that it's, important to get everything that we are offering, and you're kind of just open for them to just throw it on the market and kind of let it sit there? Do you think that that's going to be the strongest way to get the best offer?
They talked a little bit about marketing, and then they're going to put it on the MLS and Zillow and Realtor. And I just kind of thought, Realtor.com, I just kind of thought that's what all agents really did in this market. Put a sign up, hold some open houses.
I mean, all agents pretty much do that, but we do that, and then we do these 10 other things. So how do you think someone that failed the first test of negotiation is going to perform when it comes to getting you the best offer for your home?
I guess I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, because I mean, yes, we are here to market your property, but we're also here to be advocates for you and make sure that the transaction itself runs smoothly and in your favor. So that is our job as agents. So what other questions do you have?
Well, he's my friend. So I would just really want to work. I just really want to help him out.
Yeah, and I love your loyalty to your friend, but what if he is not able to perform? How do you think you're going to, be able to hold him accountable for that? Do you think it will affect your friendship?
I guess I never thought about that. It could. One more. Finish it off. It could.
So do you think it would have a negative impact if he maybe didn't do the best job and then you kind of were left with a question mark?
Yeah, I definitely think that it would really probably put a weird thing on our friendship for sure.
And do you think he's going to be able to get you the most money for your home and the best deal for you?
I mean, he works really hard, so I think there's a chance maybe.
But do you feel comfortable kind of questioning that going in, if what kind of job he's going to do and how far he's willing to stick his neck out for you?
I don't know. I guess I probably have to think about that. You make a good point.
Okay, great. Well, what other questions do you have?
Okay, good. How'd that feel? Is
I
it a
didn't
hard
like
is
it.
it a hard conversation to have?
Like it.
Yeah. The
I'm like, it's weird, especially when it's like the friend, and I'm like, well, he's gonna suck. Like,
the one thing I was looking for was I just really wanted, and again, it's not that it's necessarily the right or wrong way to do it. I really wanted you to put it with an emphasis because I thought it was really powerful what he did when I said there's one more with I would just hate for you to lose a friendship over a bad hiring decision.
yeah,
That's where I think I probably would have ended it right there. And then what other questions do you have? Because that would have been like really powerful for me to think about like, wow, I could lose my friend if I go this route. You know. Any feedback for Miss Hayden? B Money. Any feedback for B Money?
I haven't earned that one yet.
Okay.
It's 1 cent.
Anything else? What do you guys think?
Thanks.
I think it was good. I think it was good. I mean, you basically went through everything. I think the only time it didn't sound like it'd be something you would ask was the one about like when you asked, are you not even a little concerned that your agent already failed the first test? Like that's a tough thing to ask because it can come off if you don't pitch it in the right way, it can come off like super negative, and you could lose somebody. I think.
Yeah. How did
It
you
was
feel doing that, Hayden? Because that's a good point. How did you feel asking that question? Like you kind of asked a few questions before and then you jumped into it. I felt like you were almost hesitant on asking it for some reason. Like I didn't feel like a oomph behind it. Is there a reason, or is it just because it's the morning, or like how did that feel to you?
I don't know. The whole thing, honestly, like I didn't like any of it. I wasn't comfortable.
I personally
Good,
think the
good.
reason why that is because Hayden's a super nice person, and even if she was in this exact situation, she's not the type of person that would like want to trash somebody else. Not that that's what you're doing, but it could result in like a negative connotation. None of us want to do or say something that's going to lose a listing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I don't want to have to get business by like trashing on other people. And I know that like in these situations you literally have to, but I'm just like not comfortable with that.
I think the key is not necessarily. I don't think we ever want to trash other agents or the work that they do at all. It's just finding a way to ask that question that has power that you feel comfortable in whatever way that is, right? Like he is very straightforward. A lot of people are. There's other ways to ask this question if we really kind of like thought about it. Like I don't know. There's other ways. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it right now, but like, and I want Jordan to kind of go through and see if he can do the same thing. But yeah, I think we just find a way to do it where we're not bashing other people. We're just making it known about the about the negotiation part. Mm-hmm. You want to give it a go, Jordan?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So my friend Hayden just got her license, and she's willing to do it for 5%. Would you be willing to match it down from your 6?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm sure a lot of people will. Did she go through kind of the entire process of what her and her team is going to offer you, Guy, throughout this process? Listen to home.
It says something about marketing and then the MLS and like some open houses.
Yeah, it makes sense. Probably pretty standard stuff. A lot of what we do is the same. So here's a list of all the things that my team offers. And unfortunately, if I was to go down to that 2.5%, these are some of the things we would have to get rid of. Like, would you want me to have to get rid of any of this stuff? Obviously, I don't have a list for you, but I would hate to give you I kind of look at it as like a discounted service in a way, like my team, we have tons of, this is what we do. We have all kinds of listings across the valley. It also concerns me a little bit too, Guy, that if she's willing to do it for a discounted rate, where else is she willing to, not negotiate for you? This is essentially the first negotiation of the process, right? And she was willing to go at that 2.5 because I know she probably felt like it was a way to get your business, which I totally understand. But I mean, there's the initial. First of all, there's the initial. When an offer comes in, you have to negotiate that, right? Then there's inspection period. Your home is beautiful, but that's another negotiation on top of if an appraisal were to come in low. Those are big moments in an escrow process, and I'd be concerned that she'd be willing to, if she's willing to discount her services and go with a lower percentage just to get you as a client, even if she is your friend. I mean, is that concerning to you that she might do the same in these other big moments in the transaction?
I guess I've never thought about that before.
Yeah, and there could be 100 agents lined out the door to get your business, especially right now. Like the market is, people want sellers, and I just, how well are they going to perform on your $500,000 asset, right? Like this is a nice home and it's in a good neighborhood, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be in the best hands, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that does make sense. Okay, I'll have to kind of think about it.
And then you also mentioned that she's new. Do you know how long she's had her? How long she's had her license for?
Like a year and a half.
Okay.
So she's not
Do you know how
brand
many
new.
listings she's had?
I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, last thing I want you to do is lose a friendship over anything. And I get, a lot of people know a lot of different realtors in this, especially in the Valley. It's a big place, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, how are you going to hold them accountable is important. And yeah, making the wrong decision here could cost you a lot more money in the long run. And that's something I definitely don't want you to do. So
okay.
there's some things to think about, obviously. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
Nope. That's good.
It's exactly how I would be too, because your friend Jordan wouldn't give up his commission. I don't believe in it. I go for 3.5. You know this.
That's why this conversation is probably the most important for you to get down, because like if you're not gonna, you're gonna, it's either you get it or you don't. So if you don't have this ready to roll, then it's like all or nothing, which is fine. But you have to practice so you get it type deal, So what did you guys think?
I didn't think it was very good because Hayden had the luxury of going first, so she got to roll through everything. I didn't want to just do the exact same way. So.
Do the exact same way. It's literally, that's fine. Anything feedback?
I thought that was like a much like I don't know, softer is the right word, but like it was like a nicer way of like saying the same thing, and I feel like it had the same amount of power, and like I really liked it. Like I like that approach a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. Chance, did you hear anything that anybody want to throw in before I jump in on what you thought?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think, again, kind of like I was saying yesterday, you have a flow on how you're going to get someone to a point to kind of push the needle. Specifically with that, you hit the same points that Hayden kind of hit, just in a different way. And I think you went into quite a bit more good detail to kind of give your side and how you can benefit them. Yeah, that's my thought on that. I think it was very good. And again, we all know it's kind of based off the situation. This one's dealing with a friend. I'm kind of curious, because we even did this one yesterday, guy, like with the role play. I think it was a friend too. Would you tack it a little different if it wasn't a friend?
I'm kind of just throwing possibly, but we're just sticking with friends for today. We'll get into like some other scenarios on this another week. But I think you do adjust it a little bit if it's not a friend.
Right. Okay.
A little bit, yeah, and we'll do that too. Thank you for that. I think that, so the way that you asked the question was fantastic. That's probably the way that I want to steal from you. How did you say it? You said, the part where you said, are you not even a little concerned about your agent already failed? How did you say that question again? You said, I have to go back and look. Do you remember how you said it? It was really, really good.
No, I don't remember. I
think you said it more on it was more of the second part of, without saying the exact verbiage, you basically hit the second part of defending your $500,000 asset. How are they going to do that? It's kind of the same question.
Yeah. So
I think that's what you're talking about.
So where like your area for improvement is you hit all the right points and you said them in the right way, but you kept talking in a way, right? Like you didn't let you had really strong points, but you almost like didn't put some punch behind them by like letting me think about it and like, you know what I mean? Like you kind of rolled through it a little bit. I think that's where your area is. I think you take the points, your area for improvement. I think you take the points and you just deliver them with a little bit of a pause in between, if that makes sense. Like, did you feel like you were talking most of it, which you're gonna in this case to a degree, but did you feel like you were kind of like going a little too much, or did you not feel that way?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer. I said it yesterday, and I'd say it to anybody. Like, basically, in any of these things, it's just asking questions.
Yeah, and you
You're a
asked
little,
some questions.
are you a little bit concerned that your agent already kind of failed that first negotiation, or your friend with going with a discounted rate?
And then stop.
Yeah,
That's what you didn't really do on this one.
it's hard for me in these because, and I need to do it better. But like, I think we all do it because we know that the other person, like, you're probably not going to say anything. You're probably just be like, yeah, I would not like that. You're not going to give like, yeah, that's actually a huge, you know what I mean? Like, we don't really get
Yeah.
that part of it. But yes,
Yeah.
I can, that's an easier thing to do. I just ask questions and shut up.
And this is our first time going through this, so like we're all not going to be our best on this one. We do this two or three more times, we're going to be really good at that point. So, Chance, do you want to try on? I don't know where you are or anything. Do you want to go to it, or I don't know where you are?
I am just pulling up to the office right now.
Okay. I'll try. I'm gonna run through it quick till you get inside. Then I'm gonna make mine very short and then get settled and then let me know when you're ready. Okay. Who wants to be my seller?
I can.
You want to do it? Okay. All right. Go ahead. Start it the way I
So
started.
my friend do it for 5%. Do you think that you could do it for 5%?
Oh, Hayden, that's awesome. I love getting that question. It's one of my favorite questions to answer when I'm sitting down with a potential seller. The one thing that I would say that I tell all my potential sellers is, I'm a little concerned that the agent already failed that first test, which is negotiating just a couple $1,000s of his commission. You have a beautiful $700,000 home here. How do you feel your friend is going to do when it comes to negotiating the process of an offer, a BINSR, and an appraisal? If he won't even stick to his guns on his compensation for all the work he's going to do.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Do you feel confident that he's going to perform well in those situations if he can't even perform well for himself right now, which is ultimately probably what he cares the most about anyways?
I hope so.
Like that's your friend, right? How are you going to hold him accountable?
I don't know.
Right. So, the thing that I always say is I don't want you to lose out on $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 because of a bad hiring decision, right? And I truly feel I'm the best person for the job that will not let you lose out on that money. And it's your friend. So at the end of the day, if you need to fire your friend, that's a weird conversation. You can fire me super easy. So do you have any other questions that I can help answer?
Nope.
Oh no, I was very strict, direct to the point. It's my first time going as well. Thoughts? I'm open to any feedback.
I liked it.
Was it too forward, or would you feel anybody thought it was too much?
No, because you do this, so you're very good at this. Like, you can say pretty much whatever you need in a kind way, and you do it respectfully. In my opinion, I understand like what you did at the end with being like, well, hiring your friend would be difficult. You could hire me with no issue, or that part. I would say that a little bit differently because like
Okay.
I want to go with like an assumptive language, like we're not going to get to that point. I understand why you did it, but that'd be about the only thing that
Okay.
I did love, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. You could always say like, what if it comes down to it and your friend doesn't perform and you have to fire them? Like how's that gonna go?
Yeah.
You know, without being like,
Yeah.
fire me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I try to get it through a little bit of time to try to give Chance because we're under a minute. But I agree. All right, and we'll pick up on this again. Chance, you want to knock it out real quick? You ready?
Yeah.
You have about
sure.
40 seconds. So if we get cut off, I'm sorry. Thank you guys for joining me. Chance, knock out what you can until you get cut off, okay? Hey, my friend Jordan's going to do the commission, is going to only do it for 5%.
Okay, gotcha. And did Jordan go over exactly